People nowadays are career-driven and for good reason. But what does it really mean to have a career that you chose versus one that chose you? Well, the first thing we have to understand is that you shouldn't pick a career. Instead, pick a skill set. I know that sounds a little confusing, but I'm here to guide you through why this is the better option for making your career. Welcome to Modern Wealth. Remember, if you stay until the end of the video, we have another bonus for you. So let's talk about the problems of picking a career. First off, your dream job might not have been invented yet. There are very few careers that have been there for a long time and will still continue to thrive in the future based on how the world is changing. There's an extremely high chance that your dream job will be invented somewhere in the next decade or so. So let's take a look at this graphic real quick. It shows you the rise of tourism in Bali over the years. And as you can see, there's a huge spike starting to happen somewhere around 2004. For those of you who were around that time, you might know what happened. Any guesses? Well, that's when social media started picking up speed. People began posting photos and videos from Bali. Everyone got to see how cool the place is, leading to a boom in tourism. Then, not long after, a new job appeared out of thin air: the travel influencer. Governments and other local authorities paid people with good followings to make content for them. To be honest, it seemed really obvious that it was a cool job some people would love to have, but nobody could really prepare for that or even choose it beforehand. Now, one thing every bright person can agree on is that no one is really sure what's about to happen and to what degree. I mean, can you believe what horses were on the streets of New York and just 69 years later, people landed on the moon? We kind of doubt there were any kids looking to be an astronaut in 1900. Moving on to, in the next decade or so, a lot of jobs will have disappeared. Just as brand new careers appear, more will become obsolete. There are very few evergreen jobs out there, most of them being related to the basics of life, food, health, and protection. The rest of them are vulnerable to automation, which is a good thing. According to Naval Ravikant, robots would be doing everything from cleaning toilets to cooking food to flying airplanes to driving Ubers. What would we be doing? We would be doing all creative jobs to entertain each other and researching science and technology. I couldn't agree more. In a fully automated world where robots take over everything, all that's left to do is just have fun and build even better robots. Now, of course, this is easier said than done. But since the world is very slowly moving toward that point, it makes one thing clear. Even those evergreen careers will eventually be automated. Remember how the time frame between the horse and rocket was just over 50 years? Imagine the heights we could reach now. The world is moving faster than it was back then. The pace of technological progress speeds up exponentially. The world seems like it's moving faster because it actually is. At the same time, a lot of careers are being reinvented. Let's take a look at the good old farmer. They embody the age-old saying, "It ain't much, but it's honest work." But if you look at it now, a lot has changed. The plow and hoe are things of the past, and vertical farming has become the new trend. The third problem is that the workplace is going through a big change. I mean, just in the last year, 47 million US workers called it quits. That's like if the entire country of Spain just up and quit their job. There's a massive shift happening in the workforce, and I can see a new wave is coming. We can expect a few odd things, like 4-day work weeks, or completely different types of jobs. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. To move away from the seriousness a bit, here's a funny story from Goldman Sachs. As we all know, they're a multinational investment bank that demanded all employees get back to the office. Yeah, guess how many showed up? Only half. But of course, there are a lot of factors we have to consider like people getting into careers that require spending more time at home. This made them realize the careers they've been working so hard on didn't actually bring them any fulfillment. According to Harvard Business Review, some companies responded to this by increasing the quality of the jobs with better pay and better benefits. McDonald's, for example, ended 2021 with more employees than it started with now. You might not strive for a job at McDonald's, but what you can learn from this is that recent events are forcing companies to rethink their job offering strategies. We've yet to see the full impact of this on the labor market, which makes choosing a career now even more unclear. Before we move on to the fourth and final problem of picking a career, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it if you showed your support, so I can continue making videos like these to help you. Also, comment your thoughts so far down below. I'd love to hear them. Now, back to the video. The fourth problem is that people look at careers like a tattoo on their forehead. It's likely that you picked the wrong career the very first time, but that's normal. People have difficulty picking a career because they have the impression that they'll be doing that for the rest of their life. If you put that much pressure on your shoulders, the process of picking the right thing is larger than it already is. But it's fake pressure. Changing careers down the road really isn't that hard, nor does it make you a fraud for picking the wrong thing in the first place. All of this social pressure about this topic is totally fake. Truthfully, it just takes some courage, which is a word you don't hear so often nowadays. If you struggle to pick a career right now, it's because you haven't figured out what life is about. It might sound like bad news, but the good news is you never truly will, which is a blessing in disguise. This brings us to our next point, which is picking a skill set. First of all, notice how I said skill set and not just a skill. Don't focus too much on the career itself and think more about the actual thing that you'll be doing. If you go back to what Naval said, he noted that everyone should have science or engineering skills. But because not everybody wants to become a scientist or an engineer, here's the next best thing. Learn a skill set you can see yourself doing for the next 5 years that's monetizable. Why 5 years? That's because you'll probably need to change after that to keep up with the world and also not get bored. A skill set is a group of skills that work well together and make you unique, valuable, and hard to replace. Out of those, you'll eventually find something you can pour your energy into and get really good at. Your career will shift as you go. Eventually, you should be comfortable with the idea that what you can learn now can carry you for 3 to 5 years. After that, though, you might need to switch gears. Picking a skill set allows you flexibility. To be honest, nobody cares what your job title is. They only care about what you know how to do. So, how do you pick the right skill set for you? Well, first of all, anyone can learn anything. It's just a matter of education. So, don't sell yourself short just yet. Secondly, find what you're naturally good at. Now, you might be doing stuff that you're bad at or you don't really enjoy. Well, in the meantime, don't expect to find something you're really good at on your first try. You might be working 2 to 3 different jobs before you find your thing. Lastly, and we know this might sound kind of cheesy, but you don't pick a career. A career picks you. Usually, it's based on what you know, and there are a lot of things that you don't know. So the best thing to do is to focus on your skill set and what makes you happy. Now if you stay to this part of the video, you're getting a bonus, just like I promised at the very beginning. We know we might get some hate for this, but to be honest, the truth hurts. If you want to have an exceptionally good work-life balance, you'll most likely have none of it in the early years. That's unfortunately just how it is, and there's no real way around it. If you want to kickstart your life, you will need an optimal level of obsession with it. You will know if you're on the right path if that obsession comes naturally in your life. Sure, you'll have moments of, wait, what's that? I want to do that. Your curiosity peaks, and that's all you can think about. You can't stop reading about it and you ask everyone about it. You start being a little bit obsessed, and that's pretty normal at first. If you found this helpful, make sure to like it. Thanks for watching, and if you want to learn a few more tips and tricks to handling your money or your money-making skills, make sure to subscribe. We'll see you in the next video. Cheers!